All right, everybody, and good afternoon. Hope you're having a great start to the week. I'm sure the title and the thumbnail probably brought you to this video to truly understand what I mean by the end of MattMoney. And for those of you guys that follow me on Twitter or any of my other platforms, you probably have seen me more recently just going after the fact that a lot of people these days are just going after this clickbait. And I've done it to an extent as well, so I'm guilty of that. But first and foremost, within the first 30 seconds of this video, I want to say I'm not going to stop creating content. That's not the purpose of this video. What I mean by the end of MattMoney is it's one of those periods of time where we have to reflect slightly and understand what we need to do and how we need to change ourselves and our mindsets in order to get to the next level. And one of the things that I have been doing for clickbait, for attention, to try to prove to others is share how much dividends I'm making a month, how much income I'm making a month, how much net worth I have as a 30-year-old male that's been investing for however long. And the truth is, I don't need to prove myself to any of you. And the realization that I've came to, and I've come to it many a times, but in reality, when it comes to presenting myself to the world, what I've recently come to is like you are basically putting out of the world that you want them to know that you have X amount of dollars. So you want them to know that it's all about this amount of income. And that's not the truth. What I want them to do is hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, the journey, the previous decisions that I've made, the things that go behind those numbers that are now showing up, the previous dedication that I've had to be able to create those values. And what I kind of summed it up as is like me basically taking a thumbnail, which is the equivalent of me taking like a dictionary and smacking you over the head with it to get your attention and expecting you to know all of the things that have happened in the past, or in this case, smacking you in the head with a dictionary and expecting you to know all the words that are in the dictionary. And that's just not going to happen that way. And it's poor behaviors, in my opinion, to just go and flash some sort of milestone, some sort of goal. And when I initially started this channel, it truly was for documentation purposes. It was me trying to discover myself as an investor, me trying to share potential documentation 5 years ago of, hey, Matt, you're starting this journey here in 2012, 2013, and something that nobody's ever taught you, you're going to teach yourself. Nobody's really going to have it too much on the internet. If you do find it on the internet, you're going to have to scavenge for it. And I found some great teachers along the way, which has been some of the best material that I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, I think what ends up happening is it's morphed, where it went from me trying to document my progress for my future generations or for friends and family to try to follow along with, and me to kind of just keep track for myself, has turned into me trying to prove myself to others. And at the end of the day, I don't need to prove anything to any of you guys. The only person that truly matters is my family, my friends that I hold near and dear to my heart. And then also the only person I'm in competition with is the person that I wake up as a body in and look across from in the mirror every day. That's the true person. That person that, recognizes what like my mind and fears and upbringing have kind of put instilling into myself with respect to like, you can't do that, you can't do this, or nobody taught you that. But at the end of the day, that's myself telling myself that, and that's my own hurdles I need to get over. And that's not to say I'm not going to continue to learn from others. Like I said, I have learned tremendous amounts from everybody on this network, YouTube specifically, Twitter, everywhere. And I wouldn't be nearly the person I am today. But what I hope to show you guys is more than a number, right? More than a clickbait, 7-figure across a page or a thumbnail or what have you, to attract that sort of like, must be nice. No, like I want to attract the people that are actually curious to learn and actually curious to understand what paths I've made. If they want to go back and see a big number on a screen, you know, anybody can, one, make that up, and then two, it's not really going to show you the culmination of all the decisions I've made, the consistency I've made over the course of 10 years. What is going to show that is following along with me, following along with my journey, and me focusing more on the content rather than the value or the number. And I think about a lot of that stuff behind the scenes, but what I end up showing you guys is unfortunately the number. And it's truly a disservice to you. And then, like I said, it attracts the wrong behaviors for the people that are coming to watch the video. Like, people will immediately be like turned off. I've had people say, this doesn't relate to me at all because you have X, let's just say hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I have 20 grand. And it's like, well, my dude, it can completely relate to you, right? Like, everything that I say and do tries to relate back to those 5 key things that I talk about all the time, right? Your objective, time horizon, risk tolerance, how active or passive you want to be, how much additional capital you're going to be contributing every month. But people try to, you know, think about and relate what you're showing them initially on a screen to them, because that's who we are. We're very selfish people deep down. And at the end of the day, it's just not how I want to present things anymore. I don't need to prove anything to any of you guys. A lot of you guys, and this is kind of a bittersweet aspect of things, is some of you guys look at it as me documenting and sharing my progress. Some people look at it as boasting. Others look at it as, I'll never get there. And at the end of the day, I think what the easiest way to do is while it will be detrimental to some because they did enjoy my progress, hey man, call me up. You know what I mean? Like, if you're truly that interested, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you. This doesn't mean I'm going to stop sharing results, that I'm going to stop sharing trades on Twitter. This doesn't mean that I'm not going to share different percentages across the portfolio. This doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about, let's just say, how many shares of palantir I have, or how many different positions that I'm initiating and the size of them, potentially. I might say something very blunt, like this is 4% of my portfolio, or sorry, not blunt, but general. This is 4% of my portfolio. This is 5% of my portfolio. And maybe you can do some backwards math. Maybe I accidentally slip and say, I got 3,000 shares. And you're like, oh, you know, if you want to do the math, you can do the math. But what I want to share is the intent behind these things. Not me trying to slap you in the face to say, hey, I got 50 grand, or hey, I got 100 or 200. Because that's not important. The important is the intent. And I'm trying to literally just bring myself to the next level. What got me to where I am today is the decisions that I've made over the past 10 years. And what I need to focus on is the next 10 years, the next 20 years. And to be very fair, it doesn't matter if my thumbnail has 7 figures in it, 6 figures in it, 5 figures in it. What matters is the words that are coming out of my mouth. And are those words relatable to you? And so it doesn't matter, in my opinion, from going from 6 to 7 to 8 to share that on the screen. What's important is that I share the progress and the decisions that I'm making with you guys. And will that inevitably show up in the bank account? Absolutely. Because I'm pretty certain me sharing a thumbnail with 800,000, 900,000, or even if I shared one with 7 figures in it, it wouldn't have changed the fact that I still got to where I am today. It has allowed me to make great relationships with others, and maybe I wouldn't have necessarily gotten as big as I have to date. And maybe this impact within the channel will slow down my progress with respect to followership or what have you. But at the end of the day, I do it for the select few of you that are in it for the right reasons. And those of you guys that have my personal number and have gotten direct text messages from me, I do it for the people like you. A lot of the followers and stuff like that, not to say that I discredit you guys or devalue you guys by any means, it's still important because I do get messages from people that I hope to in the future get more personal with and learn more from, as I have with many of you. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are either discrediting, disvaluing, or claiming that it's fake, or just completely misunderstanding and looking at a number on a screen and scoffing at it more often than not. And it's a very select few of you guys that truly want to dive deeper and get inspired by that and put away the showboatiness or the kind of like initial flash of it. It's just like, wow, that guy has that. Like, I want to learn more. But the majority of people are saying, I can't relate to that. I don't have nearly that much. And so it's unfortunate that some of you guys will be hindered by that decision, by me not sharing net worth values or monthly income values. But like I said, I'm open. If you guys reach out to me, Instagram, Twitter, what have you, you have my personal number, message me. More than happy to talk to you about in some generals. And if you're truly, truly that honest, maybe in private, I'll share. But I think it's more pertinent for me to get myself in preparation for the next level, compare myself to, while I only need to really battle myself in terms of competitiveness of cross, say, who's in the mirror, in terms of comparing myself to where I want to get to and taking those sort of different steps that that person might have taken or this person might have taken, I don't see me sharing a net worth with that. That doesn't make any sense, right? What makes more sense is sharing, looking at, say, a millionaire or a billionaire or someone that has 100 million or 10 million and saying, wow, they're doing X, Y, Z. Like, that's really impressive. I really enjoy how that might fit into my investment strategy and share that with you all. Rather than like, oh, I need to get to 10 or X or 100. It's just like, no, I'm going to share with you guys the strategy on how I plan on getting to X, Y, and Z. And that's more important to me. So anyway, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I'd really love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. And there's a bunch of different videos I've been meaning to film for you guys. So I apologize. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I'm trying to kick back my motivation at work. At my 9 to 5. And at the end of the day, that takes up a lot of my time. And by the time I get home, I'm a little bit tired. But I did think that this is pertinent for me to share. And I'm really curious what your guys' thoughts are. And if there is an overwhelming sense of like, Matt, no, like we think that you should still do that, maybe I'll reconsider. But to be honest with you, I just don't think that there's true value in sharing that value or that number for net worth or monthly income. And what I think in what has driven bad behaviors is people following me for that reason, rather than the fact that I have a good idea or have a good way for people to begin investing and putting themselves in the right path to get to where I am. And that's what I want to more so focus on over the next 5 years on this YouTube channel. So I don't know if you're clapping. I don't know if you're like, yes, or if you're like, this is so dumb, or if you're like, is this guy so conceited that he thinks like people actually care about this? Or if you're honestly like, who cares? And you're just like, funny man, just tell me the numbers and let's get on with our life. But I think a lot of us are just so ingrained in trying to find like quick things now. Like, this guy has this much, so I'm going to immediately follow him. It's like, that's not what I'm trying to convey. And so I think hopefully with me being more particular about the verbiage that's coming out of my mouth, which I try to be pretty particular about it anyway, displaying the risk management and things a little like within the videos, I hope it makes a difference in the quality of the content a little bit. And it doesn't attract the people that are looking for so much, which is inevitable, so much of the right now, or right here, right now sort of mentality. I'm hoping to find people that are willing to be consistent and recognize that this is a marathon and not a sprint when it comes to personal finance for not just me, but anybody. So yeah, really curious what you guys have to say in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll upload it as soon as I can. See you guys on the next one. Cheers.